we're going to talk about how to pick out fabrics to make a beautiful quilt. This one, we have picked a focus fabric on the top that is daisies and green, and it's got a little bit of a vintage look to it. So we bring in this orange, which is only like in the middle of that daisy. But it brings in a beautiful color. And we have a green that mimics the leaves in this focus fabric. We have a darker green that brings out those dark greens in the focus fabric. And then we have a even darker green, a really light yellow, and an almost cream that mimics that background. That goes really beautiful together because none of the fabrics stand out except the focus fabric. They are all pretty calm patterns, and none of them like try to steal the show away from that focus fabric. And I think they go really just beautifully together. Here's another bundle where we don't necessarily have a focus fabric. This one could be because there's a bunch of colors in it, but it's really not a focus. It doesn't have a real distinct, bright, big pattern, but it has all of the colors in it. So we took from all these many different colors here and brought in, picked out other fabrics that went with it. So we have the darker blue gray. We have a light gray. We could even put in a light green. We didn't do that, but you could put in a light green because it's in there. We put in a medium, a dark, a in between medium and dark, and then this light will be really pretty for the back. This is something that's kind of like what we'd call like a monochromatic pull, that they're all blues with a little bit of gray. They're all pretty the same, but we like to do, you want to do different hues. You want darks, you want lights, you want mediums. And it's really easy when you can have a fabric that has all the different colors and you just find those different colors to go with it. So here is an example of buying a line. You just pick out fabrics that are all made by the same person, creator, and they're all just the same line. And every piece, you know, it's just going to go really well together because they were meant to go together. And this is very heavy, busy on the prints, but there's a lot of different variation in the color. You've got browns, greens, kind of a pinky salmon color, and then a white with green. So they go all together because they made them that way, and that's an easy way to pick your fabrics for your quilt. Here is an example of a bundle where we have a definite focus fabric with lots of crazy colors. And you pick colors to go with it. So we've got a nice solid red, a bright orange, which if you notice there is some punches of orange in there, a lighter orange, which is quite a busy fabric in itself and could be a fabric focus fabric of itself. But I think because of the busyness of this, you can have a little bit a busier fabric, and they're not necessarily going to fight each other too much because they're really both very busy and big. And then some nice dark teals that have one with a pattern and one without. It's really nice to add in solids to your quilt pulls, especially if you have some busier fabrics. A solid gives you a place for your eye to rest. And they're usually cheaper, so that saves on your budget too. So here is an example of a bundle that we had pulled, and it was just the 4. And they're all monochromatic, and they are all beautiful and have great prints. But the prints are varying, which is nice, so it gives them variation. But it really could use a solid in it. And look how nicely that goes. If you throw in a solid, how it gives a place for your eye to rest and kind of makes it feel complete. So it's really nice to think about that, adding those solids into your fabric pulls.